Earlier in the mini class, we talked about a modern, simplified way to tune PID. Today we're taking it outdoors to demo this tuning method. This quad's frame handles resonance pretty well, so we'll keep the filtering part simple. First, reset the PID, then reset the filters. Now everything is back to default PID and filters. Next, clear the black box logs. Done. Select onboard flash. For the initial filter test flight, if you're on beta flight for .5.2, you don't need to select anything. But if you're running for 0.5, 0 or earlier, you must enable G_scaled. Most people are on for 0.5, 2 now, so this setup is fine. Alright, let's fly. We'll start with the filter tuning test flight. This flight is only to sample the noise distribution from 0 to 100% throttle. So I'll gently sweep the throttle a few times. Sampling flight done. Let's check the black box log. We'll analyze it with PID toolbox. Something looks a bit off here. Switch to Freq times throttle to view the noise spectrum. You can see two main resonance peaks. This frame is just barely acceptable. Open this window here. Let's check the approximate frequencies. One peak at 300 Hz, another at 200 Hz. So how do we set the filters? Go to the PID filter tab. Since this quad is relatively clean, we can keep only one gyro low-pass filter. We can set this to around 400 Hz. But this blurry high-frequency band between 400 and 600 Hz is likely monoharmonic noise. RPM filtering will normally suppress that, so we don't need to use a low-pass to fight it. We can move the low-pass back to 500 Hz and keep just one LPF. For a clean quad, leave RPM filtering at default. Next, the dynamic notch filters. We saw resonance peaks at approximately 200 Hz and approximately 300 Hz. So set the number of dynamic notches to 2. The 200 Hz band is wide, so lower the Q factor a bit to widen the notch. The lowest resonance is around 200 Hz, so set the dynamic notch minimum to around 180. Keep the max frequency at 600. Next, D-term filtering. The D-term pre-filter graph shows lots of high-frequency noise above approximately 246 Hz. So increase the D-term filter strength around 1.6 is reasonable. Then fly again with default PID to check for issues. The quad sounds normal, no major issues. The props sound a bit deeper, which means the filtering is near the aggressive side. If you're inexperienced, this is usually how you blow up a quad. Check motor tone by hand, they're ice cold. So we're far from the PID thermal limit, but this is good enough if you want some safety margin for crashes or unexpected events. Let's check the new black box log. Everything is filtered very cleanly. There's a small line around 250 Hz, but it's acceptable. For lower latency, this level of filtering is good. We're not building a nuclear bomb, right? Now that we have a decent filter setup, we can begin tuning PID. Remember, don't disable TPA, I-term relax, or anti-gravity. Turn them all on and set them using experience-based values. First, set the feed-forward smoothing and averaging properly. Both crossfire and expressors send discrete, jittery signals. If you don't smooth them, FF will produce big spikes. These spikes make the quad feel rough and heat up the motors. With Ls running 500 Hz, set FF smoothing to about 60. And FF averaging for 500 Hz can be set to 2. Remember, lower radio update rates require more FF averaging. Next, I-turn relax, which limits I-turn accumulation during fast rotations. High values feel more locked in, but create more overshoot when you release the stick. My stick control is firmer now, so I'll move it from 15-20. Anti-gravity, leave it at the default 8.0. Dynamic idle, I prefer keeping it on. It keeps a minimum prop RPM, preventing stalls and prop wash. It also helps prevent desyncs at very low RPM. I'll set dynamic idle value to 30. Next step, the step response sampling flight. Feed forward makes the step response look better than it actually is. So turn FF first, keep everything else on, and begin tuning PID. Set FF gain to 0, and tune PID from the default state.